Protesters in Baton Rouge today took over part of Interstate 110, demanding justice in the death of Ronald Greene. He's the black man killed back in 2019 after being arrested by state troopers. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for watching. I'm Katie Moore.
And I'm Sharice Gibson. So those calls are growing tonight, demanding the troopers involved in Greene's death be arrested.
Greene's family met with the governor at the Capitol today, while hundreds of protesters marched to the governor's mansion afterwards. Danny Monteverdi was there and tells us what Greene's mother had to say about her meeting with Edwards.
Mona Hardin led hundreds of protesters from the steps of the state capitol to the gates of the governor's mansion on Thursday afternoon. Earlier in the day, she joined the National Urban League in calling for the firing and arrest of the state troopers involved in the death of her son, Ronald Greene, in May 2019.
We got a whole video.
That's good, brother. That's good.
Matter of fact, we ain't got one video. We have nine.
Greene's death is under investigation by the Union Parish District Attorney's Office and federal authorities. State police tell the Associated Press that the troopers involved, quote, have already received internal discipline while awaiting the results of the federal review. After meeting with Hardin, Edwards released a statement that read in part, "What happened was tragic, and I cannot imagine the immense pain of losing a child in such a terrible way. Nothing can make up for the disturbing treatment he received at the hands of some state troopers. I pledge to Miss Mona Hardin that Louisiana State Police is cooperating fully with the Union Parish District Attorney and the United States Department of Justice in their investigations, and that under the leadership of a new state police superintendent, change has already started at the agency." Mona Hardin, Ronald Greene's mother, says she left that meeting with Governor John Bel Edwards far from satisfied.
Here we are. And we don't know where we're headed except the fact that we thought we was going to have answers, and we don't.
Hardin says she wants one thing.
The arrest, the incarceration. Everyone who has blood on their hands, my son, who took part in the corruption, the cover-up, whichever way you want to lay this out, it's all in the videos. It always has been.
After protesters marched to the governor's mansion, some marched onto an interstate on-ramp where they sat for about 30 minutes, saying they want justice for Greene. Reporting in Baton Rouge, Danny Monteverdi, Eyewitness News.
The interstate ramp was reopened within about 30 minutes after those protesters left.